Welcome back to Grandisans in Gratitid, where we guys talk about healing, growth, and becoming the best version of ourselves. Today's subject is change begins with me. We have with us my cousin. Her name is
Ashley, hello.
Hi Ashley. How are you doing?
I'm doing good. How are you?
I'm doing amazing. I'm doing amazing. So thank you for having me. So on a commencé avec sujet ça qui voulait dire que changement commencé à l'intérieur. C'est-à-dire que tu as un plan dans la vie que nous avons été peut-être un bagage changer tout point de vue. C'est-à-dire que nous avons pour un monde traiter bien si un monde fait un bagage qui va bien ou du moins pour la vie à bien plus easy parce que par exemple, on doit avoir un bagage qui va ou dit pas ça que ça arrive, but ou je s'apprendre, ok, next time it's gonna be more easier, but on pas lever, ou faire face à ça pour dire comment on t'a overcome. L'aime commencer à voir que nous style apprendre et que rien pas changé, donc on commence moi-même, moi, réveiller. On commence à dire, changement, c'est dans moi-même pour le faire. L'aime commencer à voir ça, on commence à gagner des bagages, me considérer, on commence à prendre responsabilité, et puis me dire que c'est moi-même qui te gagne doute, qui te gagne peur, pour te affronter quelques bagages avec quelques blessures que me gagne dans le passé qui va jamais te gagner. So, après ça, je décide de choisir la paix, je décide de choisir, questionner tête moi et garder côté, moi, pas côté correction. Et en un moment ça, je commence à faire réfléchir sur moi-même, so, je commence à ouais, changement. Parce que changement n'est pas commencé avec le fait que m'apprenne, mais il commence avec moi-même qui commence à éveiller de toute part de responsabilité. Yeah. Today we have Ashley with us. I'm gonna go over this question that I'm gonna ask her about experience and about change. So first of all, like, what does this subject make you feel like change begins with it? What do you think about this subject?
I think it's very important to start asking yourself questions, looking at your actions that you are behaving around people in order to realize what change you need to conduct. Because I was also realizing, I wasn't around the kind of people I wanted to be around, or people weren't treating me good as well. And I would say, maybe next time, or next time I would give people several chances and not being more restricting with my boundaries so people can treat me better. So looking at why I was not enforcing these boundaries on myself or having as much respect for myself as I would like to, being able to ask that questions really opened my eyes on how I can start changing my behavior and other people's behavior around me in order to effectively change.
Yeah, you started to be aware of like your behavior, like what you accept and what you
Yes.
don't accept. So this is great. So we're gonna start over like those questions that have to ask you today. The first one is, what was the hardest mindset you had to change about yourself?
I believe the hardest was learning to give myself grace, because sometimes we go through things and maybe we fail here, we fail there, and we start beating ourselves up. And we start saying, maybe I don't deserve this, maybe I'm not good enough for this. But you have to learn how to give yourself grace, because, you're going to continue to fail every time you try to do something new. But that doesn't mean that you're not good for it. You just have to accept that you are learning something new. So being able to be patient with myself is very hard, because I'm not the most patient person, and giving myself grace allows me to look at, whatever mistakes I made, but being able to move past it and continue to try.
Yeah, so take a look back and be grateful and continue to.
Right.
That's me too. I started to learn that like nowadays, every time you're trying to start a new things, you become like uncomfortable. It's not because you can't or like you don't know what to do it. It's like it's new. It's new to you. So you have to adapt yourself to it and study to like I said before, don't point people fingers and start become aware of like your behavior and started put some discipline in your life to put more boundaries and started to choose people you need to be
Right.
surround yourself with. That's great. So you said that you're not the most patient people, right?
Yeah.
How do you stay consistent when you're trying to grow?
Say that again.
How do you stay consistent when you were trying to grow?
So something I do keep up with is therapy, and staying on top of therapy has allowed me to be able to discuss certain situations that are currently happening in my life, and being able to have somebody come in through someone who doesn't have any bias, someone who can speak for everybody in the situation, and being able to tell you actively what you are currently doing right now that might be wrong, that you can change, helps me be more consistent and remember um, like for example, I go to therapy like once a month, and sometimes throughout the month so many things happen, so being able to discuss it right then, so before the next time something happens, then I'm able to remember all of the tips that my therapist gave me and be able to change immediately, instead of like letting something sit for a couple months.
When you get in this situation.
Right, being consistent with that is very useful.
It's useful.
Yeah.
When did you realize that real change had to start inside of you? When did you start to realize that?
I think around 2018, 2019, for sure. There was a consistent number of things that were happening. Like I wasn't getting this job, or I wasn't getting into this school, or I had so many situations with friends that didn't work out. So I had to realize. So I had to realize, there are some things that I kept allowing. There are some instances where I wasn't giving myself the grace, so I would become frustrated every single time. Um, and I had to realize, I just need to focus more on changing small things about me instead of just complaining about certain things.
So you just realize, like when something happened to you, you just see yourself like react different ways that you used to like react before. So
Yes.
when you started to realize that you become mature, like you started to change, you started to learn, you started to like implement your like growth, like usually when I used to panic every time I get something, but now like it's so peaceful when you get okay. This time I gotta get better. So have to do it this way. I'm not saying oh because of that this happened, because of this happened. So like I say okay it's my fault. Have to this is me. Have to like okay change the way I do this. Change the way I do that. This is where I can say I realized that I started to see growth in me. Like I become more peaceful.
Yes. And sometimes there are things that just happen, because sometimes you want to plan out the next 5 years. So this is what I'm going to do in 10 years, but life does not work that way. So you have to be able to accept that and change when you can.
Yes. Is what part of yourself are you still learning to heal or improve right now?
I am currently learning how to express myself more, because a lot of times I find myself in situations where I react or I point fingers and blame people because, things may happen to me that they don't realize that they're doing to me. Like if someone does something disrespectful, but they don't know that because you didn't express that to them. You didn't tell them, this is what I define as respect. This is what I find disrespectful. Sometimes I just keep it in, and then I just sit on it. But sometimes that creates resentment towards other people. So I'm learning how to tell people what is actually wrong with me and being expressive so that, it doesn't occur again.
Yeah, living with it and like, okay, so it hurt me, so I started to like heal by myself, but I need to talk, like express myself more. Like usually, if I don't talk to that person, I just cut that person off. Like,
yes,
I don't want to talk to you.
Yes, especially we don't talk for a little while, and then we'll just be quiet.
Away, so I'm like, okay, I'm gonna keep my peace. So now I need to express it more and say that you did you do that to hurt me, like
right. And sometimes they don't know,
or you just do it to you want me to change something, or like okay we are okay with that, so you just talk. But sometimes there's people they know that they do that, but they do it on purpose. Or you or you may we need to sit together and talk, even though you are like older or like younger than me. So I give you respect, you have to give me respect back.
Yes.
Because I started first of all, when I met someone, I just treat you respectfully. But if you don't give it back, I'm not gonna.
Right. You can't expect me to have any respect for you.
Yeah. This is how it is. Our last question is, what advice would you give someone who wants to change but feels stuck emotionally?
Honestly, I normally recommend therapy to people. I think that that is the best form of someone who is not emotionally stable, because I am not the most emotional or vulnerable person. So it's hard for me to talk about my feelings up until I started therapy. And my therapist did it in a way where she would ask questions that didn't make it too emotional, but it was easy for me to express and talk about things that may have happened to me or things I'm going through that I'm trying to fix. So I think, and you also have to be confident enough to talk about these issues too. Like if you're not emotionally stable to talk about things, it may be harder to figure out what is wrong with you. So you really have to commit. You have to want to change. Yes. So, and once you accept that, then you have to be willing to talk emotionally about things you're going through.
Yeah, I like it. If you don't want to change, so it's not gonna happen like that. So you have to want it and study to act like you want it. Me, what I did, those last 2 years, I started to go to church, read Bible, or read some book. Who gonna help me to do that. So people are like more confident to talk to the pastor. So
Yes.
finally, find someone that you can express what you need to like.
Yeah, there's so many outlets that you can try. You can try journaling. There's like voice journaling where you can talk to yourself. So you can hear yourself back. Sometimes that really works to like hear you talk, and you can hear like the frustration or the sadness in your voice. You know, relying on religion is a very good outlet because you can find, you know, verses or stories or even like your pastor speaking on a sermon that may speak to you. And you can find, you know, other hobbies that can help you, you know, learn more about yourself.
Need to really need to do that change. So
Right.
if you don't want to do it, so nobody can help you, and you have to listen to. There's some people like on YouTube. They have their channel, so like you don't have to meet that person like physically. Like you can have like someone that you never know and talk about your story like behind your camera. You just use it. These people doesn't know you and just know your name, so you can have some therapists like that. So if you don't wanna talk to someone that know you and gonna judge you, sometimes people are afraid of that. They don't want people to judge them. They don't wanna be open to anyone. So it's like I can recommend that read a lot, listen to some people who have their stories, to like learn what they did to like overcome that, and you maybe it's not even your situation, but you learn from them. You study to implement some of them who might work, or like yes, if you need to change, you have to study to act like you did.
Right. Right.
Yeah. So I'm so happy to have you today, and I really appreciate that. I really appreciate that, and I like the subject today. It's like so emotionally, and I needed to like touch some people. So like I want to have this so bad, and I know me and you are like family, so we are not that related. I mean, we didn't talk a lot.
Right.
We didn't go together. It's like we didn't know each other, but maybe it's because our like family didn't have a lot of communication. But now I say, right, we are young, so we have to study to break that
Yeah.
trust.
Yeah.
Say, yeah. That's the reason why I say, okay, I need to have you with that subject.
Right. We don't want to repeat the same things that our family has been doing, because then we'll just be disconnected.
Yes. That's the reason why I said, okay, I want to have you. I want to have you in one of my emissions. So that's gonna be like amazing. And I appreciate that you accept, and I hope to see you more often. Okay?
Yeah, no problem.
Thank you. So bye bye. C'était Gratitid. Et regardez-vous pour dimanche prochain pour l'autre émission.